All right. Hi, Hannah. How are you?
Good, Hayden. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me for our initial session. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So before we jump in, I wanted to ask you though, have you ever worked with a professional coach before?
I feel like I've experienced some coaching from a manager in the
Hmm.
past, but I'm not sure how that's different from professional coaching. But I've been told it was coaching.
Okay, got it. So, in your opinion, what would be your best description of what you think like professional coaching is?
Well, I'd say it's kind of something that comes alongside you and kind of cheers you on and helps you realize what you can do.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a big part of coaching is definitely someone who cheers you on, supports you, and helps you achieve what you want to do. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. So what I want to do right now, Hannah, is just spend a few minutes kind of going over the formalities of coaching to actually go over what coaching is and what coaching isn't.
Hmm.
And then we'll actually get a chance to design an alliance, which is really to get on the same page to make sure that I understand what you would want to get out of coaching and I can let you know what I do as a coach. How's that sound?
That sounds like a good idea because I think it'd be good to have some clarity.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, the first thing, I want to do is talk about the difference between coaching and other service professionals. Like, because
Hmm.
sometimes there's misconceptions and people get confused, that coaching is like therapy, for example. So, first of all, coaching is not therapy. And one of the main differences for that is because therapy is more focused on the past and
Hmm.
coaching is more focused on the future. Right, so therapy might have diagnoses about the past or trying to get over a past trauma or a past challenge that maybe holds the client back. So coaching is more focused on the future, and it's more proactive about taking action to create the future that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What about if like there's something that happened in the past that impacts the right now or the future? What
Yeah,
about that?
that's a great question. I mean, that's not to say the past doesn't come up, because of course the past is a part of who we are, and the past helps shape our current experiences. But the main difference that is if there is something that happened in the past that maybe is the client cannot get over, or
Uh,
that there's still emotional blockage that prevents them from moving forward. That's more the therapy realm. The
okay.
coaching realm is, yeah, to be aware of our past and what we've learned from it and how we're going to do things differently and how we're going to create action steps to create a more proactive future. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. So coaching basically assumes that you don't need healing from something in the past.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's not healing and it's not to, yeah, gain healing or to gain a better understanding of a trauma that happened. It's not about that. It's more about moving forward from it.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great distinction. Like therapy is more about healing from something from the past, and coaching is more about moving forward to create a proactive future.
Right. Like growing out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Growing out of it and moving forward. And it's not a focus on the past. Like the past comes up, but it's not focused on the past.
Okay.
So coaching is also different from consulting. I'm sure sometimes people get consulting and coaching, confused. And the
Hmm.
main difference between that is consulting is more about directly giving you advice. So as
Hmm.
your coach, I don't really directly give you advice and I don't directly tell you what to do.
Hmm.
Coaching is more of a partnership, between us where it's more about we design action steps together and to help you discover things that are already inside of you. It's helping you tap into resources already inside of you to help you really fulfill your potential, if that
Right.
makes sense. So it's not that I directly tell you what to do, but more about we explore together and discover different solutions we can try.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Yeah, because consulting, for example, let's say a business consultant would be you hire a business consultant to directly tell you what to do and give you advice on one specific problem.
Hmm.
So coaching, on the other hand, is helping you explore and discover and learn things about yourself and learn things about the situation. But it's not that I know more than you. I'm not an expert. Like a consultant is more an expert in their field, but a coach is more empowering you to discover answers that you may already have inside of you.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then the third difference is coaching is different than mentorship, where mentorship is usually like you're trying to learn something from someone who's in a specific field that you want to get into. So for example, like I'm a mentor coach, so I mentor others learning to be coaches. But in this case, that's not the case here. Does that make sense as well?
Yeah, you're not mentoring me on how to live my life.
Yeah, and it's like you're not trying to be mentored in the specific profession, that we're talking about.
Right.
Okay, cool. So any questions or what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it sounds really empowering.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, I guess my tendency might be to ask for advice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really good to be reminded, like, hey, try and figure it out yourself first. And I
Yeah.
think that'll be really beneficial and growing for me in this kind of scenario with coaching.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is very empowering. In fact, I want to go over the professional definition of coaching. So we describe coaching really as, like I said, a partnership between a coach and a client to help the client generate learning, increase self-awareness, and to identify and achieve meaningful goals. Yeah, so like it is a partnership though. It's a collaboration where you're going to learn and be more self-aware and then achieve meaningful goals.
Very
And
cool.
then the ICF, which is the International Coach Federation, that's the largest, body of professional coaches. They also define coaching as a partnership that helps the client maximize their personal and professional potential. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
Partnership, maximizing potential. Yeah.
But then in my style of coaching, I like to push the envelope even further to say we it's not that we maximize potential, because maximizing indicates some sort of limit, right? So we want to say unlimited potential. Really, I want to help you tap into unlimited potential and unknown potential, because that word maximize means there's some sort of limit, and I don't like the word limit. I don't like limits.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, so I want you to think about this idea and notion that we don't really know what we're truly capable of, right? We don't really know what our potential is, and our coaching helps you tap into that. So it helps you explore areas of yourself and explore goals that you didn't even know existed. Yeah. How's that sound?
Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. So so we're going to go over a few more things about coaching, and then today we're going to decide if it would be a good fit, if we think it'd be a good fit between me and you to continue our coaching relationship.
Okay.
So all of my training, it is, like I said, ICF accredited, which is the International Coach Federation. So it is the highest standard of coaching in the world. So that's good. So rest assured that this is formal. I've been formally trained as a professional coach through an ICF accredited training program. So I'm not just a random person saying I'm a coach. I'm actually formally trained and have credentials and have someone holding me accountable to make sure I uphold the coaching ethics and standards and guidelines. One of the biggest important guidelines of the ICF, though, is the concept of confidentiality. So that's important. So I want you to know, Hannah, everything we talk about is confidential and that this is a safe space. When I say confidential, meaning like I won't be telling anyone, what we talk about. I won't be posting it on social media, what, Hannah's telling me. The only exceptions are sometimes if I'm in training, I might let you know that I'm going to record the session for training purposes, and the only person that would hear that would be my trainer. So that's an exception, but I'll definitely let you know if I'm going to be recording a session. Okay. And the other exception to confidentiality is, of course, you reveal something of danger to yourself or to other people. Okay. Then, of course, I'll be like, that doesn't sound very safe. I would let you know that I would have to be sharing that information with someone else. So, are you okay with those guidelines about confidentiality?
I am. That sounds good.
And then when I say safe space, I want you to know, not only physically, I want you to know, always be in a room that you feel comfortable to talk in. So it's not like there's 1,000 people in the room. I want you to create a safe space that you can feel free to be open, but also safe space in the terms of it's free of judgment. That's important. I want you to know that anything that you share with me, it will not be judged, and I will actually be curious. I want to learn more about it. So I want you to know that you can use your imagination and you can dream big and really talk about whatever you want in our coaching sessions, because you'll not have judgment on my end. But more importantly, Hannah, I want you to not judge yourself. Sometimes that's the hard part, but I really want you to share ideas without judgment. And because you know how sometimes we might have an idea, but we shoot it down even before we give it a try, right? That happens to a lot of us. So I want you to not feel like that. I want you to feel like if you have an idea, let's share it, and to not judge yourself. What are your thoughts on that idea of not judging your own ideas?
Sounds exciting, honestly.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, removing the limits that I might put on myself. So I kind of like that idea. It sounds very freeing.
Yeah, it is.
I may forget though. So, you have permission. If I'm judging myself, you can ask about it and point it out.
Okay. Nice. I'm glad that you said that. Like, I will definitely remind you to not judge yourself. And that's actually a good segue into the next part of this conversation, which is really designing an alliance. And the alliance is just really our agreement of how we're going to work together. But, like I said, I always encourage you to fully express yourself and to say what's on your mind. But what you're saying is sometimes you may need to be reminded that you can fully express yourself and that you don't need to judge yourself, which is part of our alliance. And alliance is how we're going to kind of design how we're going to work together best. So let me first ask you, Hannah, now that you know a little bit more about coaching, like what, ideally in a perfect world, what would you want to get out of coaching?
I have some goals and areas of life I'd like to see myself grow in. And, I guess I want to get past the limits I've set for myself because I want to keep learning and growing, but I feel like sometimes I limit myself and hold myself back because of doubts.
Wow. So what you're saying is you definitely you have some goals and some things you want to achieve, but sometimes you hold yourself back and limit yourself. Well, how do you feel like a coach might help you get over some of those limits?
Well, I think just talking about it is great and opening the floor up for talking about it, because sometimes when you talk about it with a friend, they give you advice and you don't really realize and really think through it. Sometimes you just grasp for the advice. And I feel like partnering with someone is going to be really beneficial, because I'm not the only one accountable, or I have someone else to hold me accountable besides me holding myself accountable. And I think that kind of support system in the form of like talking about it will be really good.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, coaching definitely can help you talk about it. There's sounding boards, a collaboration, and there's definitely accountability involved. And I like how you mentioned also that sometimes when you talk to friends about specific challenges, they may be quick to give you advice. And which, like we established, coaching is not really about advice. It's really helping you kind of explore with a partner to discover your own solutions and ideas to try, which is, like you said, exciting and empowering. So Hannah, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about, like, if you could, where you currently are, and just kind of, because you mentioned you have some goals that you want to work towards, like where are you currently, and then where is it that you want to go?
Oh, that's a big question. I think I almost need to clarify where I want to go, because I guess I always feel like there's so many options, and so I don't have a clear picture of where I want to go. I know I want to keep moving forward and progressing and growing and learning, but I don't know the destination, and I'd love to discover that more clearly.
Got it. Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge that you have that awareness that actually sounds like something that you would want to get out of coaching, is to gain clarity on where it is you want to go. Because it sounds like what you're saying is like you have lots of goals and you have lots of dreams, but there's so many to choose from. And what you're hoping is maybe coaching will help you gain clarity to maybe have more focus on which of those goals to focus on at the moment. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Okay. Because even in school, I was the kind of student. I was like, I loved everything. I liked everything. College major, it was fun to decide on. But
so let me ask you, Hannah, so let's say through coaching, you do gain more clarity on exactly what you want and exactly, what your goals really are. What would that be like if we achieve that?
I think I've been using the word exciting, but I think it's exciting. And it's exciting just to even be starting this process, because I don't know, just generating a lot of hope, and just excitement around, growing, and continuing growth, not just staying in the same
Yeah.
place. So I think it'd just be, I guess right now I feel hope, and then
Yeah.
excited for the future.
Wow. What would you hope to learn about yourself through this coaching process?
Oh, what would I hope not to learn about myself? I need a smaller list. Um, yeah, I guess when I want to just narrow down, like, I mean, because like I said, I like to do so many different things, and I would love to just have it just like more of like a laser focus and
Mm,
learn, like, okay, yes, I do like a lot of things, but there are things that I'm certain, like, maybe meant to do right now. And
got
so,
it.
I guess learning more what my purpose is.
Wow. And what would be the benefit of you learning this laser focus and learning more of your purpose?
Well, you're going to be more effective in whatever you're doing. Yeah, and I think probably more, um, just it's going to go better because I'm not all over the place and putting energy in a lot of different things. It's going to be more intentional, which I think is going to make it even more effective.
Wow. So what I'm hearing from you is you have lots of ideas and you'd hope to learn to be more intentional and be more purposeful. And then definitely the benefit to that is being more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, it's my intuition is telling me sometimes it's like you may start lots of different things, but then you aren't really effective at finishing them all or doing them all as well as you want to do them because there's lots of different things going on.
Yeah, or it's almost I don't even start. I just have like ideas, but I don't
Okay.
start them all because I don't have time or energy for all of them.
Got it. Nice. So what I'm hearing is you right now it's a little bit of lots of fires going and sometimes procrastination because you're not even starting things because you have so many different ideas. And where you hope to go is to be more effective, intentional, have a clear purpose, and be more focused. We said laser focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got it. So I have a few more questions. So what does motivate you and what gets you into action? What motivates you? What gets you going?
Well, anything around like learning something new is very motivating. When I see growth, it's also very motivating. So just those together is, I think, is what the recipe for motivation for me
Got
is.
it.
Learning coupled with, oh, there's growth, there's results.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually, how will you know that you've grown? How will you know that you're growing?
You see some results, and I guess, I mean, I would know the difference.
Mhm.
Um, and it means probably a continuous process and conversation, because I mean, even a little bit of growth is just as significant as big growth for me.
Got
Um,
it. Wow.
I think it's, in everyday situations, noticing the difference of how I handle things is how I would measure growth.
Wow. It also sounds like an increase, like a self-awareness of actually noticing, oh, I've handled this differently, or I thought about this situation differently. It's like being able to catch yourself doing that more. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what requests do you have from me, meaning as your coach, how can I be the best coach for you? What requests do you have from me?
Well, I think the accountability piece, like I mentioned,
Hmm.
especially to like the goals that I set, helping me just even deeper the meaning behind those goals, so that I can even have more motivation, but then holding me accountable. Um, I think, I really like feedback, just, or even when you paraphrase, like, and, tell me what you're hearing, because that helps me realize what I'm saying
Yeah.
sometimes, because I think I feel like I process when I talk. And so, if you tell me back what I'm saying, it's almost like I'm hearing it from a different perspective, yet it's exactly what I said. So that's really helpful for me because I feel like I get the full picture of what I actually am learning. And then, yeah, I just really like how you're genuine and straightforward, and I appreciate just your communication style. And so, yeah, just keep the communication going.
Yeah.
um, I understand if I've heard correctly, like I'm going to talk a lot, but I really like it, when, like I said, when you talk and kind of connect. So it's not just
Yeah.
me talking and rambling, because I feel like I can ramble.
Got
So
it.
catch me if I ramble. But that's it.
So you like accountability and you like paraphrasing in terms of me repeating back what you're saying. And then also you appreciate that you know that sometimes you ramble. So that's something that you're letting me know. And what you would appreciate if sometimes I call you out on your rambling to get us
Hmm.
back on track. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which actually introduces, the topic of I want to let you know in our relationship. Sometimes I may interrupt you to get us back on track. And it's not to be rude or to cut you off, but it's to make sure we stick to the agenda. So it sounds
Mhm.
like you're okay with me interrupting you.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I actually really like direct communication.
Got it.
I really appreciate that. So be as
Okay.
direct as you as you feel you
Got
need.
it. So then, do you, if I were to call you out or be a little bit tough on you, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like that's one of the circumstances that's really good to grow under. I feel like some of the best experiences I've had have started with a tough conversation. And honestly, I'm not going to coaching to get on the swing and be pushed a little bit. I want to go be pushed. So
Wow.
I appreciate that.
Cool. Well, I want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge that it sounds like you're ready to grow and you want to be pushed, and we will step outside our comfort zone. And even though sometimes that may be uncomfortable, it sounds like that's what you want and you're ready for that.
Hmm. Yep.
Cool. Which is great because that's definitely my style of coaching. It's definitely helping people grow and step outside their comfort zones.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is basically the beginning of the beginning part of our session, which is to go over coaching and to design our alliance and how we could work together. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I feel like you've answered any questions I would have had along the way. So I feel good. But I'll let you know if I do have questions.
Yeah,
I'll
please
speak out.
do. So any thoughts so far though on what we said, like in terms of opinions on what we covered?
Honestly, it aligns with where I'm at, and I feel like I am ready for coaching, and I'm excited
Okay.
for what's going to come out of it.
Nice. Well, good. Well, now what I want to do right now is we're actually going to jump in to do some coaching, and I'm going to introduce an exercise in just a minute called the Wheel of Life. So,
Okay.
how do you feel about us jumping in and doing transitioning from like the formalities of coaching? Now we're actually going to do some coaching. How's that feel?
I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
All right. Well, let's
Lost
jump.
count of
All
how many times I use that word, but sounds good.
right. Well, let's go ahead and jump in and do that right now.